We turn now to Democracy 2020. New Hampshire voters are heading to the polls today. They're getting their say on the Democratic Party's presidential nomination fight. We want to take you there live now. As they cast their votes, the state's primary will determine which candidates are stronger or weaker after Iowa's chaotic caucuses just last week. A lot of candidates are in New Hampshire today. Senator Bernie Sanders, former Mayor Pete Buttigieg began the day as the undisputed frontrunners. New Hampshire also offers a critical test for former Vice President Joe Biden and Senator Elizabeth Warren. Now, 4 years ago, we saw contests on both sides, but this year the spotlight is solely on the Democrats.
The president actually encouraging his supporters to head to the polls and vote for his weakest opponent. News 5's John Kosick, always here to make sense of all this stuff. But, John, we understand this really isn't that uncommon.
And not uncommon, although it is more likely to occur here in Ohio in 5 weeks from today than it is today up in New Hampshire. President Trump making headlines in Manchester last night, encouraging Republicans to vote in the Democratic primary for the weakest Democrat.
So I hear a lot of Republicans tomorrow will vote for the weakest candidate possible of the Democrats. Does that make sense? You people wouldn't do that.
If they are true Republican supporters of the president, though, they cannot. For Republicans to vote in a Democratic primary in New Hampshire, they would have had to have officially changed their registration by last October. But the Granite State is what's called a semi-closed state. That means if you are a New Hampshire voter who is not committed to a party, which you can see most New Hampshire voters are not, you can go to the polls today and vote in the Democratic primary while also maintaining your undeclared status. In Ohio, the process is somewhat similar, only here, Republicans and independents who choose to vote in the Democratic primary can literally change their registration at the polling place on Election Day. But they will then become a member of that party, something that could come into play here next month.
There's the conspiracy theory, the possibility they'll try to pack it for a weak candidate to run against President Trump. We saw that in 2004, saying that Republicans were all going to vote for Dennis Kucinich. Nothing really came of that.
In 2008, it was given a name, Operation Chaos, led by talk show host Rush Limbaugh, urging Ohio voters at the time to vote for Hillary Clinton over Barack Obama to extend the primary process. So in Cuyahoga County, for example, from November of 2007 to that primary in 2008, the number of Democrats increased by 36%. But a deeper dive shows they didn't switch from Republicans, whose numbers also increased that year, but rather came from the independents, who wanted to have a say in the primary process.
I highly doubt we're going to see that have a significant impact compared to the number of regular folks that are Democrats voting for the Democratic nominees in the primary.
And we're going to get a better feel for that as if it starts to happen, as we watch just who is pulling ballots when early voting starts just next week.
Wow.
Okay, as a card-carrying Irishman, have to ask here, the primary being on St. Patrick's Day, what's the effect?
It probably will have one, especially here in Democrat-rich Cuyahoga County, where the parade is actually taking place on St. Patrick's Day itself. Again, that is something that will probably push more people to vote absentee.
All right. Thank you, John.